Today on the podcast, I want to cover 5 different tips, might get more than 5, might have a couple bonus, on working with influencers. So for those that know, Matthew has an agency called AppRabbit. It's an app builder marketplace kind of thing. And he works with essentially a bunch of different influencers to help them build apps for fitness and other like programs, courses that they have. A bunch of other niches. But one thing that has always been really impressive to me is the caliber of influencers that Matt has using his apps and working with them. So today I want to pick his brain and talk about how he gets in contact with these influencers, how he works with them, and kind of the whole process there, because I think it's definitely a massive unlock for most software and most businesses in general, is being able to leverage the audiences of these influencers. So Matt, give us your top tip for working with influencers.
Well, the first thing is finding them, right? So to find them, you think, I'll just send them a DM or an email. And actually that is true. You have to, but you have to reach out to these influencers at mass scale. You have to be super short and direct. These are not business people as well. It's the second thing that you have to remember. Like, they actually have no idea what they're doing with their business. Like, they literally have no idea. They just have a lot of followers and they're really good at making content. Everything else they're pretty bad at, like building teams and everything. And so you should hit on that point. They like done for you. They don't want to have any input. They want everything literally just taken care of them from the get-go. And so that's super important. Third thing is they trust other people. So once you kind of cracked into like a network of a niche, you can kind of work through that person and incentivize them, right? Bribery works here. So, we got through to Alex Eubank. I'll tell you the story about how we got him. He has 3.5 million, and we were able to get him an app, and everyone was hitting him up to build apps. I hired someone who had a list of phone numbers who this one's a bit hacky.
No
had a list of yeah. And then we had his phone number, and we were following him on social media pretty tightly. Props to the guy who I hired. He's awesome for this. He's like, hey, Alex is flying in to like this place at this time, like in an airport right now, or like he's traveling there right now. He loves this drink at Starbucks. He loves like a cold brew, whatever, pumpkin spice. It was October. And so I just cold texted him a Starbucks gift card. It was like a 3-line.
No way, dude, this is insane.
Yeah, it was like a $15 or $20 gift card, whatever. The law of reciprocity seems so corny, but it's so real. It doesn't even matter like at what stage it is. The human psychology can't be beat. I was like, I build apps for guys like Ross Edgley. I know you like cold brew. We should talk tomorrow, like whatever, enjoy your flight. He's like, thanks. Yeah, for sure. Let's talk. He's like, I'm already using X competitor to build my app. And I was like, awesome. Let's just talk about it tomorrow because we're going to be better than them in every way. So anyway, so that's how I broke into him.
That is insane. Had you tried reaching out before?
No, that was the only time.
That's amazing.
We were anticipating though. Like we were watching. It was timing. It was really big time. But here's the thing: we work with hundreds of influencers, and we don't usually hunt them like that. We usually just get their emails. And by the way, you can't just buy an email list. Those are usually trash. And so we actually get virtual assistants to go and scrape these emails overseas. But they have to use their phone because on Instagram and stuff, like really emails are really only found like using that contact us button, which doesn't show on web. And so you have to just get them to use their phone. Get those emails into a list, make a really bomb email campaign, and they just add those emails to the list automatically. Keep your headers on the email super short. I just do their first name. Literally, that's it. No topic or anything. You just want them to open the email. They don't have to know what it's about. The email has to be so short as if you just hand wrote it in a second. Hey, like, what do I say? Hey, first name. You came up on my feed, or I found out about you in X way. Then qualify yourself. I do XYZ for XYZ. Let me know if you're interested. Boom, that's it. They'll respond to that half the time, but then 2 days later, you have another one that goes out and it sends them maybe a video of more information, and I get more lengthy with each one. And then finally, like my drop-off email sequences are like, I just assume like they're already interested because half the time they like forget if they even responded. And I just start saying stuff as if we're mid conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, I do so. Yeah, just like, like if getting on a call is easier than Zoom, then let's just do this. Or it was like, Or I'll say stuff like, have you texted me yet? And then just drop my number. And they'll be like, what is this about? Like, about getting your getting your app done. Dude, I swear, like, they're so confused half the time. Like, sometimes they get on a call with me and be like, oh, I thought you were someone else. Like, I get so many emails. Sorry, like, I'm so, like, scatterbrained and confused. And that's when I'm like, we will take care of everything. Like, we will do, like, don't
that
think
confused
about
feeling you have right now, we solve that problem.
100%. It's like, forget about every other company, forget about every process, forget about like trying to find your domain name, blah, blah, blah. We will just buy you a new one and we will just build your website and we will build you an app.
Like, I'm trying to figure out how to transfer my domain. Don't worry, we already bought a new one. You're good to go.
Yeah, it's like, we just bought your domain with the name app at the end. Like, good.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some tips for influencers, dude. I don't know. There's probably
that's amazing. That's insane value. Okay, so tell me about a time. This is just for fun, but give me like a cringe or really painful time where you tried to contact an influencer and it all went terribly wrong.
We had a big one on the line. We had Amanda Cerny. She's got like 35 million. She used to hang out with like Logan Paul and those guys. I've had a couple of people that are pretty big that we've talked to. And when I get them on a call, that's when I'm like invested. I'm like, oh yeah. This isn't super cringe, but dude, like some of the influencers that we've contacted, one thing about influencers are they're entitled. And that's fine because they actually are entitled because of their audience. They're used to people throwing stuff at them all the time.
Right.
And we do like special deals with big influencers where like we give them kind of the world and we think it'll pay off for us, which is fine. But dude, they wanted like hundreds of thousands of dollars like upfront. Like for us to build them something, they wanted hundreds of thousands. You know what I mean? So just like no guarantees, no like promises of any return. They wanted guarantees. They wanted like money back guarantees, even for little stuff. And so it can get like super crazy when you get into like that world, especially for a startup. Like you can't afford to dish stuff out like that. Like you can make really elaborate deals and stuff. But yeah, once you get in front of someone like that, your skills also, just like going back to it, your skills better be sharp, man. Like you better be ready to play ball. With Alex, actually, he was super easy to work with, but he ended up getting me to talk to his manager, and that was like not the most fun experience. He was like,
why not? What was that like?
Total shark, like just total shark, wanted everything. We ended up doing crazy things in that deal. I had to get like the board of directors at my company involved. Like we had to kind of go up and above and beyond. And it was great because Alex didn't even have to be part of any of that. He's just making content and his manager's just like ripping the skin off our backs, you know. Like it was just crazy.
That's insane. That's amazing. Talk to me about, tell us a little bit about Ross Edgley, obviously a huge influencer you work with or have worked with. How did that contact?
Ross was like literally 30 emails back and forth. He was approached by Men's Fitness or menshealth.com. He had all the big guys going after him at the same time I was. I made personalized videos though, and that was my edge. I don't think the other guys were doing that. I think they just had like their top sales guys making big promises via email. He got to know my face, and I did things on that one. I used my disadvantages, like the fact that I was a startup and new and didn't have anyone credible at that time, to my advantage, pointing out that we would like bend over backwards for him and like making all these promises and like giving him reasons why he would be more important to us than he would be to anyone else. And honestly, every single thing I promised him came true, and we still bend over backwards for him today because of like what it meant to be able to work with him. So like we even do new features for him, just for him sometimes, like development just for him. His app crushes it. We make money off it, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it was email after email after email, and he wanted to know processes and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it did come down to me just saying, we will take care of literally all of it. Like he was like swimming around the UK like he always is. And he's like texting us from like a boat in the middle of the ocean, like worried about like his brand image and stuff. I'm like, I've got it. And then any little question he would ask, I would make an entire like 10-minute Loom video being like, hey, you asked this, which means that you probably are worried about this, but we've already done XYZ for other people who had the same concern. And watch, here's what I plan on doing with you. And we basically built out his entire app before he even signed up with us, just to show him that we could. so that he could fully trust us by the time that he actually paid us and got on board with us.
No way. That's crazy. I mean, I think obviously that makes a huge impact, making that all that customization, those custom videos I think are epic. Matt, thank you so much for sharing all the tips and tricks of the trade as far as working with influencers on the podcast. For those listening, if you enjoyed the episode and if you learned anything new, or if you have any other questions about working with influencers, or, if you want any influencers' phone numbers, definitely hit up Matt on LinkedIn. He's, happy to just give you his CRM.
Happy to add you to the list of 100 billion connections that are waiting for me to respond to them on LinkedIn.
Where's the best place that people actually can hit you up? Is it X? Is it Instagram?
Dude, so yeah, dude, I'll tell you, my new Instagram has 88 followers so far.
Oh, let's go. If you want to join the herd of 88, it sounds like there's not a lot of inbound. This might be your chance to get Matt before he blows up. So
I work with influencers, but I'm not one. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, well, thanks so much for tuning into the podcast today. Make sure to rate it and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. We seriously appreciate them. We read them. And we are trying to build up those reviews on Apple. So specifically, if you have an iPhone, we'll be eternally grateful if you give us a review. Have a great rest of your day.